what you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show.
Motorboat.
Welcome to the MG Show, where the truth is learned, it's never told, and here we are. You know, it's funny, somebody was saying that we were telling people not to question everything. We do question everything, but I'm telling you, some of the questions, and if you're knowingly realizing that you're causing division and chaos, that's a different story. Shady Groove, we realize, and we watched the Charlie Kirk assassination together, and we saw the close-up together, just like we saw the Trump thing together, too. And I just got to tell you that I'm really kind of sick of the narratives, and I'm just going to tell you that flat out. And if you don't like it, you don't like it, because we're always wrong.
Hey, guys, everybody, it's Friday.
Until we're right.
We're always wrong until we're right. Yes, sir. It's Friday here. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We will be taking the show into some premium content today, by the way, talking about the Pandora's box. I thank you all so much for your attention to this matter. Because, yes, that is true. It's like, it's like everybody should have all of their questions. But once you have a question that has become answered, then that answered question should become an answered question. And so, as we said yesterday, the MG Show is firmly in the camp that Charlie Kirk has been murdered by a psychopath. And we are really kind of getting sick of some of the dumb stuff going on around that.
Yeah. I mean, and, I just urge the people that are, and I'm going to just tell you my theory that would be more plausible is that rogue intelligence, the same ones that's working with Antifa because we need an army just as strong, just as well funded.
Right.
The Antifa, they're probably controlling Antifa, and they probably radicalized this guy to do this. And that would be more of a unique story and probably more close to home. Okay, I think that we have a problem, guys. And, we had this last night, Shady. You saw it last night, too. Antifa is a military operation.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So that opens up some Q posts, guys, a lot of them.
It actually opens up some Q posts. And the interesting thing is right after we were discussing it, we got an interesting drop from Donald Trump because it seems like that the things that we're discussing is irritating the administration also, and we're noticing it at the same time.
Yeah, and I'd like to give a hat tip out to Torch at PUSS_Q because we saw. Give him a follow. Yeah, go give him a follow as well. Let's just go through this real quick, like clockwork, Shady. Okay.
Yep.
President Trump posts himself sitting at a computer looking at Intel ops under Obama. Think playbook, panic, clockwork. Okay, that's the timestamp. The timestamp goes to my graphic here that I posted on Twitter and Q linked to. Here's the actual, here it is. See it? There it is. That's from September 19th. Oh, wait, that's from, let me just see. September 19th, 2018. And I posted it. Look it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
It's a delta.
I just saw that.
Wow. My Q post is a delta today. Congratulations to me. Thank you for all you fake Q people that are going to honor me today for doing that.
You're welcome.
All right. So this is interesting. So this is the actual graphic, and it's 10:55, 22:55. Okay. Think playbook, plan it like clockwork. Think New York Times article, all that RR. But right here goes to 97. Okay. With the intel on the screen. See intel? Flynn. What is Flynn's background? What is his rank? Was he involved in intel ops? What access or special privileges? Why is this relevant? Setup. Who wins? Who becomes exposed? Who knows where the bodies are buried? Who has access? Who becomes exposed? Who knows where the bodies are buried? Who has access? What is military intelligence? Who was part of military intelligence during Barack Obama's term? Who was fired during Barack Obama's term, military intelligence? McChrystal and Flynn. Why is this relevant?
Boy,
Why is this relevant, Shady?
Boy, I'm telling you what, we are opening up a can of worms here that this audience can deal with.
So we reported yesterday on X. Let me just, you want me to just continue through this?
I do. Yeah, I think that because we got to get to the president, and then we've got premium today, so you got to move quick.
Move quick. This is
not that
proof,
quick,
guys.
No, slow down.
All right, here we go.
No, slow down.
All right, so Flynn, what is Flynn's background? What was his rank? Was he involved in intel ops? What access or special privileges? He had presidential level clearance, guys. Okay. Why is that relevant? Setup. Who wins? Who becomes exposed? Who knows where the bodies are buried? Who has access? What is military intelligence? Who was part of military intelligence during Barack Obama's term? Who was fired during Barack Obama's term? Military intelligence. Why is this relevant? Are rogue? This is my theory. This is my question. Are rogue military generals running or supporting Antifa for what Obama is saying here? Quote, we cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well-funded. Playbook?
Known.
Like Antifa? Flynn called is literally like Antifa. This is Flynn. To counter possible cultural shift away from dehumanization tactics that are on mainstream left, Antifa suggests exploiting divisions on the right to divide and conquer. They suggest using Israel as the wedge issue.
Saving Israel for last. Are you guys seeing a bunch of virtue signaling Israel division operations occurring out there within the realms of social media? The division ops are the exact same as the division ops that they were utilizing on the Chan boards before Q. 4chan or poll today, what Twitter or X today looks exactly like what 4chan looked like 10 years ago.
Yeah. I call it X-Chan now.
Yeah, right. The operations have moved off of the Chan boards and right in front of you on X, and it's exactly what they're doing. They are trying to utilize the Israel/Jewish issue to divide the world and kick off World War III. They were able to do it 2 other times. They were able to utilize these same types of narratives to kick off 2 other world wars, and they say, heck, now we've got technology. Maybe we'll just go for the glory here and cover everything up with a world war.
Real Iron Eagle, I hope we're bringing on the boom. $17 Rumble Rant. Thank you. Pippins? I think it's Pippins or Pipins. I don't know. I hope I'm saying your name right. But you gifted 5 subscriptions to the MG Show. Thank you so very much. I hope I said your name right. Dux says $17 for the swear jar. Let's keep going. So, military operation? Think about it logically. The only way is the military fully controlled, save and spread once 11/3 verifies his first marker. 11/3 was the 2020 election date. Biggest advance. So now we have a new investigative journalist, Dr. Carolyn B., went undercover with Antifa, and she says that it's a military operation. They bring in people with military experience to lead sessions. Antifa trains people on how to get arrested. Antifa has people at the jail. Bail funds are ready. Lawyers are lined up. The primary goal is a violent overthrow of the federal government. Let's listen.
Hang on. Before you start, I would like to make mention that isn't it just very interesting that all of these people that are these associates, let's say, for example, Joe Altman. How did Joe Altman, a literal complete associate of all of these Flynn people, get on a call with the Antifa? How did he get on a call with the Antifa? We are opening up a can of worms here, ladies and gentlemen.
So military is the only way, fully controlled. They fully controlled the infiltrated Proud Boys, the infiltrated Oath Keepers. They had fake fights with Antifa, CNN, and
BLM.
What's his name, Shady Groove? BP on the scene. BG. Brendan Greizenflagler was always there. That sounds Nazi, doesn't it? Was George Soros a Nazi supporting Hamas? So we've got a problem, guys. And is somebody directing these operations? Could it be former military generals, intelligence from Obama administration?
Let's gin up as much hatred for a segment of the population as we possibly can.
And, I really want you to understand that when I was sitting there, Doug Billings, that scumbag.
Oh, my God.
Doug Billings was with General Flynn, and he was looking straight at me with this face going, military isn't the only way. You're not going to be saved by, some white knight. They said that, again, like looking dead in my eye, because I think there could be something more to them on that side than we realize.
Yeah, they've been telling us the whole time. Like General Flynn came out and he told us that it was all a psyop. So effectively, Q coming out and making these comments about you were taking it as compliments before, but now all of a sudden it's a psyop. Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Poussin, BG on the scene. Brendan.
I said it.
No, I'm just talking to Poussin.
Oh, yeah.
Are you Poussin?
No, I thought you didn't hear me say it was BG on the scene. I'm
just teasing. So it's Brendan Gleizenflagler, okay? And he's always there. Boom, his name. When Shady was somewhere, I didn't even want to say it, but when you were there, I said, I will text you as soon as I see BG on the scene come up, because that's when we know Antifa is going to attack. CNN was there. New York Times. They're all in it together, guys. Let's listen to this. Antifa transitions to terrorist organization. Let's listen.
And it would be very interesting that we're
undercover.
Sorry,
my timing's really bad. Go.
I know it's me too. It would be very interesting because this is the reason that this is all piping up. Stay tuned because we have a few more things to show you here to line this up. Donald Trump has declared Antifa a terrorist organization. We are saying Antifa is an arm of the previous Barack Obama administration that had infected upper echelons of the military, and those operations are continuing through platforms like gaming consoles and Discord. And right now you have the FBI that they're really not happy with the way the FBI is working. If you're not noticing that, they're not happy with the person that will prosecute people like Pam Bondi, trying to weaken their positions. I find all of this stuff very coincidental, if you will.
Yeah, that finally means we can go after their funding. What if it's military intelligence being funded that way through slush funds and U.S. government, through NGOs to the organizations? It's going to be a web, okay? But it will be exposed, and we're waiting for it. Okay? And how did they do that? Maybe with these Ponzi schemes, okay? With Epstein victims, right? That got 20 million settlements and they kept the 15 million. They gave them 5 million, kept 15 million. Got people in office that they wanted to. They all have foundations for a reason. George Soros didn't lose any money for funding Antifa. How is that possible? Think DOJ settlements. Very interesting.
Very, very interesting. Think people trying to convince everybody to turn the elections over to the military.
That's right. Here we go. Check it out. Yeah. That's huge.
Karlin Borisenko is an undercover investigative journalist for Decode the Left who's infiltrated these terror cells. Karlin, tell me about how these people train. They look pretty militaristic.
Yeah, absolutely. They do have sessions where they bring in people with military experience. Anti-war is a very big thing for Antifa, so they do hand-to-hand combat trainings. I was just undercover with them in New York City over the weekend where they had a whole self-defense class where they were teaching people how to violently, confront the police, but also defend themselves if they needed to be put in that position.
And why do they always get out of jail so quickly? You see all these people get popped, they get bailed right out, and charges never stick. How is that?
Well, Antifa, actually, they train people on how to get arrested. And it's interesting with far left subcultures because they actually volunteer to get arrested and go through this type of training where they are provided legal support, they are provided lawyers, they are provided all of this stuff with mutual aid. And so as soon as they get arrested, Antifa basically goes down to the jail and they bail them out and they are all set up with a lawyer and ready to go. So they plan all of this stuff out ahead of time and they have the resources set up for people to be able to be taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, obviously someone's paying for their legal representation. What is the core mission?
Well, we had Kamala Harris doing it. Okay. All right.
Of Antifa? Is it anarchy? Are they anarchists?
Yeah, Antifa are anarchists. Their primary goal is the violent overthrow of the federal government. I cannot emphasize this enough. We've been hearing a lot of talk about civil war over the last couple of years between Democrats and Republicans, red versus blue. I firmly believe that the real civil war we have coming is the radical revolutionary socialists and communists in Antifa versus the federal government. That is their goal. That is their only goal. And people need to start taking this problem very, very seriously.
Military operation. And Alex says he just texted me. He says, yes, Q drop with the picture of Antifa in Syria. Yes, their flags are the same. Remember? Try harder, Shady.
Yep.
Working, can't find the drop. We found it last night. I don't know how we found it, but guys, I'm telling you, there's something to this, and it's a theory, okay? What do you think, Shady?
But whenever you bring in all of this stuff, see what happened during the first Trump administration, like all of it's really starting to line up in a different way. And all the associations with the positions, like, so in Syria, he's bringing up Syria. So I was trying to get back to that. So whenever the locations were targeted in Syria under the Trump's first administration, it was very interesting because we went and did the research. Remember, we were all like, kind of before any of us knew each other, we were all on the boards and we were digging into these places where the missiles actually hit. And what we ended up finding out were the associations that went back to connect to these locations where they were, quote unquote, aid being given. Remember that?
Let's look at this. Here it is. John Kerry with the Syria flag right here. And these people, flag, security detail background, all looking away. Trusted, close proximity.
McCain.
McCain. Yeah. Sorry, McCain. My bad. Let me just see if I can find the flag. There it is. Look at this. When will CNN disavow Antifa for throwing urine-filled blood bottles at police in Boston today, or they endorse it? Does the new Antifa flag remind you of anything? That's a foreign picture, guys.
Yes.
Okay, and then Q says, try harder. So the Anon says, is Q, retarded? Their flags are completely different. And then he says, try harder. Ready for tomorrow? Wow.
So look at right there where you're talking about the associations, the same NGOs that are funding the press. Remember all the stuff about USAID that we saw about all of the press around the world that USAID is funding, USAID. USAID is also funding the journalists in the press here in America. USAID is also funding Antifa through the NGOs. All of these NGOs are working together. That's why the CNN and the Democrats are in complete lockstep and alignment with Antifa. That's why they're not willing to call them a terrorist organization, because they don't consider them an organization at all. They consider them an ally to their cause. You will notice that at every transgender event where they're like trying to put trans people on a stage in front of children, Antifa is outside guarding the event.
Wow.
Or the military intelligence, should I say.
Yeah. Wow, guys.
Question mark.
Wow. All right.
Dude, this is unlocking the map in a big way. And also, Antifa mapping started long ago.
Yes, it did.
That post.
Yes, it did.
That was the first post, one of the first posts that mentioned Antifa, I think.
Yep, and that's why they're probably afraid of Palantir.
I 100% think that that's why they're afraid of Palantir, and I think that that's why they're afraid, because Cash came out and started talking about geofencing of telephones that were being utilized, and then everybody started losing their minds and trying to blame the Jews.
And they're afraid of not only Palantir, they're afraid of Discord, they're afraid of 764, the Order of Nine Angles. They're afraid of all of it. We were called into Discord, Shady.
I know.
By the Flinians.
I know.
All right, so
we kind of know that there's you wouldn't believe how big this network is, by the way, guys. Like, you know, like now, neither of us are a part of any of those servers, but there were thousands and thousands of these servers, and they were all sharing all these same people. It was crazy.
Yeah. Imagine being in a server called Patriots United, and then Q drops Patriots United.
And then the whole server turns against us.
Yeah. That's exactly when they turned against us, too, isn't it?
When they started to turn. And Q gave us that warning, as a matter of fact.
Let's get that Patriots United.
Bring it up. Yeah, I mean it's relevant right now, dude, because, like, you know, we're digging in an area of reality that nobody else can even come close to touching.
Yeah. Sheep no more. American Patriots United. Okay, there's that one, but it wasn't this one. I think it was. Here it is. Those most who left the White House did not have a choice. Fake news, fake MAGA. Transparency is the only way. Patriots United. Military is the only way. The only way is the military. Look at Shady. This is when it happened.
It is when it happened.
Corsi, attempt to infiltrate Q. Mueller, Corsi plea deal. There are bad people who pretend to be good.
Now Corsi is like on Flynn tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. All right. So there we go.
Little history lesson.
That's our little theory going on. What do you think about that, Shady?
I'm thinking that we are literally like looking at something. When Obama said that he was going to build an army, I believed him. And now we're seeing it. And the army, if you were an expert in psychological operations, you would not build an army of people on one side of an issue. What you would do is you would build an army of people on both sides. On one side, you would call them BLM and Antifa, and on the other side, you would call them Oath Keepers, 3%ers, and Proud Boys, and then you would literally go in and try to antagonize both sides and then create news stories so that you could weaponize the news to both sides. So you split the news in half, and then you weaponize the news on the left, and you keep throwing all this stuff about gay people in front of us, and you keep throwing all this stuff about white supremacy in front of them, and then the next thing you know, we're like cutting each other's heads off, and whenever the guy sits beside the king, Jeff, the king says, oh, how are we going to control them? And he says, no, you don't have to do anything, sir. The only thing you have to do is you have to tell the pitchfork people that the torch people want to take their pitchforks.
Yeah. And, you know, they bust him in. We've got video of Patrick Byrne admitting that he flew the Proud Boys in the January 6th.
And we've got video proving that BLM and the white supremacists got off the same buses in Charlottesville before they decided to do their little torch ceremony.
Yeah. Rock Chip says, thankful Jeff and Shady listen to their gut, a.k.a. Holy Spirit within, for direction. Thank you so much. DQ says, over the target on your theory. Civil war. Wow, guys.
They want civil war. They want us to tear each other apart. That's why this whole Jewish thing is inundated all of X and Twitter and your minds. If you look through your feed, they're feeding it to you. They want to generate division. They want to generate hate. Charlie Kirk was trying to unite us. Yeah. What we've been trying to do here is unite people around something that you do not understand, to bring you to a recognition of the reality that you're in, so that you can properly navigate with decent information. You can't navigate at all with horrible information.
Let's look at Q Alert, who is a General Flynn person. This is it. Let's see what they say about. Oh wait, I don't see anything about Charlie Kirk here, Shady.
Oh, okay. Isn't that interesting?
Boone Cutler. See, they needed to have somebody else to martyr because they can't martyr Charlie Kirk because they're not on our team, guys.
Good point.
They're not on our team.
A very good point.
All right.
Interesting timing, too.
Yeah. Let's go to Trump. I've never seen anybody capture the youth like Charlie Kirk. You ready?
I am ready.
All right.
Okay, wait. Hang on. We got a question. I can answer. We have a question.
Our timing sucks today.
I know. You guys are, you guys are confusing me. You say saving Israel for last. Okay, here we go. For last, but never discuss what Israel has done. this has nothing to do with Israel. Israel hasn't done anything. Israel hasn't done. Do you not know who created Israel? Who's in charge of Israel? Stay tuned for the second hour of Premium today, and we're going to show you exactly who it is that controls Israel. The people that control Israel are the same people we're talking about right here.
Yeah,
you guys, it's not
right.
Jewish people, and it isn't the state of Israel either. It's the people that started the state of Israel.
All right, let's move on. They're using Israel for last to divide MAGA.
Correct. Jeff can see.
Wow. And then there could be more later, but we're waiting on that to open map because that's how we roll. Okay. You and your little theories, can you show that Israel pulled the trigger?
Yeah.
No, you can't. Okay.
Now they're changing
all
the text.
Bullshit. And Antifa agrees with you on Israel.
Exactly.
You understand that?
No, nobody's getting that.
Do they understand that you guys are agreeing with Antifa?
And the CNN.
And the CNN? and the FLYNN?
The FLYNN is terrible.
So you take your little Antifa ass out of here, and we're going to watch Donald J. Trump.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. I'm sorry for so many interruptions.
No, you're good.
You just mentioned the TikTok deal with China, and among the many conversations that have happened in the aftermath of the assassination of your good friend, Charlie Kirk, has been the terrible effects that social media has had on young people. And among the platforms that have been spewing this hatred and these cheering people about Charlie Kirk's assassination is TikTok. So the question is it worth it for the damage that it has done in many ways to our kids?
So I didn't know too much about TikTok, and Charlie actually recommended it to me. He said, you should go on TikTok, but other people too. And I went on TikTok, and I really hit big. I mean, I think I had more views than anybody else in the world, actually. And as you know, I did phenomenally with youth, young people, very young people, young voters that typically are Republican. I think Romney got like 6% or something like that. It wasn't so long ago. And I got tremendous, millions and millions
Huge
of
swing.
young kids.
Absolutely.
Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And I give TikTok and Charlie and probably some other reasons, but we did well. But I got to understand TikTok. You're right. They said negative, but they also said mostly positive about Charlie. I mean, the statements on TikTok and other places. Now, look, I saw on Fox and I saw on others some of the quotes that people made that was so horrible. And you say, where do these people live? Where do they come from? They said horrible things about the death of Charlie. And I guess we just have sick people out there. I mean, even if you didn't like them, you can't say the kind of things that they say. But that was long beyond TikTok. That was things that were said.
So there's a lot of things out there. And you have this executive order now that we just heard about on political violence and hate speech.
Right.
And you want to make Antifa a terrorist organization.
They are.
Do you believe that there is a vast terrorist movement in the United States that people need to be aware of? And is it responsible for Charlie Kirk's killing, for the attempts on your life, for these CEOs that we saw in New York City? Is there something people need to understand?
You never know, and we'll find out maybe. But in the meantime, we're going to do a big thing with respect to Antifa. It's a sick group. I mean, very, very sick group.
All right, I'm going to pause there because it's interesting because, Alex, thank you. Guys, know your enemy, okay? What happened is you heard that their pile of cash went to Syria. Remember that, guys?
Yep.
What do you think maybe that could be funding, Shady?
What do you think maybe?
Know your enemy. Look at this, okay? This is anti-fascista in Syria, okay? This is another one. Remember, this has been going on since 1933, guys. Look at this. These are foreigners. You get it? Okay? Antifa being trained. Oh, wait. Antifa units being trained and fighting in Syria.
What do you do with them after they get done fighting in Syria, Jeff?
You bring them here.
Oh, and you put to like Portland and stuff like that?
Yeah. All right. Wow. Thank you, Alex. It completes the dig pretty much. Here we go. Back to Donald Trump talking about Antifa, the terrorist organization.
Wow.
We have a lot of things. They love burning the American flag. I think it's terrible that they burn the American flag. We're going in and we're saying it incites riots, and therefore you go to jail for 1 year if you burn the American flag. That's different than Antifa, but Antifa burns a lot of American flags. Because as you know, the free speech got us on the American flag. The courts have ruled free speech, so we're going to go on an incitement of riots. I saw it the other day.
Worry that this.
I saw it the other day on your show. They have an American flag, and a guy starts burning it, and the people went crazy about it, and they ended up rioting all over the place. So we think that's a reason also, and we're going into the courts with that, which is incitement. Antifa causes tremendous incitement, and the things they say and the things they do are horrible. So we're going to find out.
You said millions and millions of dollars going towards some of these groups for agitation the other day.
They're agitators.
Who are they?
Well,
and where's the money coming from? Is it foreign entities?
Yeah, you're going to find out, and we're going to find out in great detail. And it surprised me that Biden wouldn't have done it, because it really became hot over the last 3-4 years. It surprised me that Biden wouldn't do it. But then as I got to know him, first of all, he didn't call the shots. He wasn't calling the shots. But as we got to see what was happening in Biden's group, Antifa plays perfectly for them, absolutely perfectly. But it's a terrorist organization, in my opinion, and we're going to find out. All those questions are going to be answered.
Charlie said, that there was no such thing as hate speech. He obviously, no one anticipated what happened to Charlie, but you have always been in favor of free speech. Yeah, so do you have concerns about, some people look at this and your critics will say, well, this crackdown is a crackdown on free speech?
It's interesting. I watch your show and I watch others, and I see people saying things. They're crazy. These people are crazed lunatics, even the way they'll answer. It's like, you'll see them, and the things they say are really bad, but they look crazy. They're almost crazed. Maybe they're drugged out. Maybe there's some other problem. But the kind of things you hear, actually you probably don't put most of them on. The kind of things you hear are so unbelievable. You wouldn't think, you're a very regular person. I am too. I'm a regular person. Who would make the statements that they make? Did you see the guy the other day run through all the flowers that put down in loving memory of Charlie? This maniac runs through the flowers, kicking them all down and stepping and stomping on them. Unfortunately, somebody grabbed him and gave him a rap. But the guy looks like a normal guy. And who would do that? I mean, who would do it? Running through these plants and
that's
flowers.
Ruining property. So once you cross the line from just speaking.
It's not the ruining property. It's the concept of doing it. Who would do this?
No, it's horrible.
You have people that are
But we have the freedom in this country to burn a flag, but not to ruin, someone's. That's the question. Where do you draw the line? I guess.
Well, you can say the ruination of property, because you probably do better with that, because free speech seems to be you're able to do anything. So you can say. But when I saw this thing, I couldn't believe it. I had to rewind it and say, I love the rewinding. It's without it, we couldn't live without it, because sometimes you can't believe it. But I watched this young guy running through and kicking everything around.
And he had a T-shirt on that was the same T-shirt.
It's just a terrible thing. That's the other thing. They have signs, and they're all professionally made. Real protesters make them in their basement. And they're all the same.
So who's behind it? Do you have a gut feeling?
You hear Soros. I don't know. We're going to find out if he's behind it. But it's incitement to riot. That's a criminal act. And people are dying because of it. So it's really, it's death. So we're gonna find out, and it should have been done a long time ago.
Let me ask you, as a parent and a grandparent, when you look at these stories, right? This guy, Tyler Robinson, Thomas Crooks, who almost took your life, Luigi Mangione has all these people supporting him. What's your advice to parents? By the way,
think about Mangione. He shot someone in the back. As clear as you're looking at me or I'm looking at you, he looked like a pure assassin. I was surprised, actually. You would have thought this guy would have been at a central casting in the movie, and maybe he was. But he think of what he did. He openly, it's not like, gee, there's a question. If there's a question, you can understand it, maybe. But there's not a question. He walked up to a man, didn't give him warning, didn't say turn around, didn't do like the Old West where you have a gunfight, you each have a gun. He shot him right in the middle of the back, instantly dead. And now he's like, I'm watching, the girls are going crazy for him. This is a sickness. this really has to be studied and investigated. It's not possible.
And these people are all allegedly, at this point, they're all in the process in the Department of Justice. But what would you say to parents who are worried about kids getting deep into these holes on the internet, spending too much time gaming?
They should be worried. When you look at the picture of Charlie, I didn't see it. I didn't want to see it. I specifically, they told me what happened. I would have never made a good doctor. Okay? I don't like the blood and all of the things. And some people view that as like, oh hum. I was watching something and it was, there's a lot worse on the internet and things. They watch this stuff. So that, there is a point at which it really does get to be pretty sick. I specifically said, they had it all teed up. They said, I don't want to remember Charlie that way. This was such a good guy. You knew him probably very well. I assume you knew him very well, right? He was a great guy.
Not as well as you, but yes.
No, but he was a great person. Mm-hmm. He really was a great person. I actually said, Charlie, someday I think you have a good chance of being president. I think you will be president, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I think he would have had a great chance. He was very compelling. I've never seen anybody capture a group of people like he captured youth. He captured youth. It was incredible. When I say he was a young guy, but I'm talking about the 20-year-olds and the 18-year-olds. It was like he had a following that was incredible.
He did. Do you feel, last question for you, sir, because I know you've had a long couple of days. I appreciate your time.
I just didn't have the courage to tell you I'm not doing it, because I've studied every monument and every painting in the entire UK. And I said, finally I'm going. They said, no, you're doing an interview with Martha. Oh, that's great.
Well, let me ask you this after the last week.
But it's an honor to do it.
Thank you. It's great to have you.
I'm a big fan.
Great to have you, sir. Do you think it's the responsibility, is it a role as president to bring people together? Is that part of the job?
Ideally. So I get this question so much. And when you see the kind of hatred out there, it's like unbelievable. And it's probably always been there. We just don't realize it. Mm-hmm. But I saw it starting with President Obama. I saw tremendous hatred. I saw levels that we've never seen before. And with Biden, it got far worse, just far worse. When you look at what happened this last 4 years, it's been terrible. But during my term, we had tremendous economic success. And just before COVID, I was getting calls from people that you wouldn't believe, people that you know very well, but people, I would call them the radical left, or certainly the left, and more so than what we would think of as a traditional Democrat. And they wanted to get together. Remember that just before COVID, we had to handle the COVID. I think we did a great job with that, but it was COVID. The whole world was thrown asunder, right? The whole world went.
We're still recovering in a lot of ways as an economy.
In many ways, young people are recovering.
Yes.
Because they missed.
They're in the basement.
A piece of their
gaming.
life. A piece of their life was taken away.
Yes,
I wonder what it
true.
would be like if we didn't have that horrible thing that took place it came from a certain place, and it was a terrible thing. It was a terrible thing. But if you think about it, when this happened, all of these things happened, and they all happened at once. And you do wonder, what would it be like? We would have had I think we would have had a different world, but it's very sad. It's very sad. What I would say is this, success brought people together. And I think the only thing that's going to bring them is tremendous success, and that includes economic success. I was getting calls from people, Martha, that you would not, if I told you some of the people, and I'll tell you if you want later, but I don't want to give them any publicity because they went bad as soon as things started going a little bit differently. But people wanting to get together, wanting to have lunch, wanting to talk. It was amazing, actually. And I say it, and I say it loud and clear. I think the only thing that's going to bring us together is tremendous success.
Mr. President, thank you very much for your time.
Very much.
Good to be with you.
So that was a interesting interview there, Shades. I caught some very interesting things in that conversation. She's trying to act like it's people in basements. Trump is like, no, it's somebody else, guys. And I think we're kind of over the target right here on the MG show, Shady.
But isn't it interesting the way that they can't understand? She just asked him, how does this, how are we able to understand how the money moves through the 501c4s and Fox News can't get it through the dickheads? Oh, wait, probably because they're being funded by the same organizations. The reason that they can't see it is probably because it's partly associated with them. And she's also trying to trip him up on the free speech, hate speech thing there. And the way that he diverted her goofy ass question on that was absolute perfection.
Yeah. And, you know, I want to just let you guys know that the left got the president kicked off social media. Okay.
Yes.
Claiming private companies can do whatever they want.
Yep. That's what they told us.
Major platforms banned or censored my account, Trump's account, and your account. Trump supporters focusing us to fringe platforms for years until Elon bought Twitter. They also targeted my PayPal, my Patreon, my Cash App, our YouTube, Shady, all of it, and more. I'm done hearing excuses. Why?
Why? Because fuck them, that's why.
Yeah. All right? That's why. That's why.
Exactly why. I know there's no mercy. There's no mercy for this, and it's not cancel culture. We're not talking about the idea that Twitter said that Jimmy Kimmel can't post on Twitter. We're talking about the idea that a organization that has to acquire a license has deemed content that was put on their network unbelievable, dismissed him because of it, and now he has to pay the consequences for his free speech. You see, he had the right to speak. They took away our right to speak. The voice was removed. He spoke. He already said it. So his free speech is not under attack. He free spoke, and now he's free to suffer the consequences.
Yeah. I'm afraid you've been blinded by your hatred for Donald J. Trump.
All right, now lose it. Just lose it. Go crazy.
Yeah. Okay. And we liked Donald Trump, and we were censored. Not the people were not some one guy on a newscast.
All of us.
American people.
And they didn't care. Not only did they not care, then they told you that after that you were censored that you weren't allowed to talk about the idea that you didn't want to take a vaccine. You weren't allowed to say why you didn't want to put a mask on. You weren't allowed to say that that ivermectin helped your grandfather. You weren't allowed to say these things that were real to you because they removed your ability to say them. Therefore, you couldn't speak. You couldn't speak to get censored. Do you get that?
And listen to their own words. You ready?
I'm ready.
You shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others if you are for providing misinformation out there.
There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, especially around our democracy.
There are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda, whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged, is something that would be a better deterrent.
If people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block. It's really hard to govern today.
This is a matter of corporate responsibility. Twitter should be held accountable and shut down that site. It is a matter of safety and corporate accountability.
The First Amendment is not absolute. It does not protect any single thing anyone says. There are limits, and that's important. And what this committee has been trying to do for the last year and a half is to chill the federal government from monitoring what is going on social media.
When you look at what Tucker Carlson and some of these other folks on Fox do, it is very clearly incitement of violence. Very clearly incitement of violence. I believe that when it comes to broadcast television, like Fox News, these are subject to federal law, federal regulation in terms of what's allowed on air, what isn't.
So my biggest concern is that your view has the First Amendment hamstringing the government in significant ways.
This is so clear, Jeff.
Yeah. And remember, Shady, that Q post that I was in with the other 199 people, Shady, if you read that post, we were supposed to send it to our senators and congressmen and watch them help us, right? They didn't care. They didn't care, guys. They didn't care that you, all of us were censored.
The interesting thing about this is there's a big difference, and you can clearly see it right now. It's so easy to see. They are explaining to their audience that when you talk about them being corrupt, that is incitement. Okay? Follow me along here. When you say that they are corrupt and what their corruption is, they consider that incitement. Whenever they are telling you to go down to a restaurant and bother people that are MAGA that are sitting in the restaurant, how is that equivalent?
Yeah.
Look at it clearly. We are not. They are not accusing us of corruption and us saying, "Oh no, I'm being canceled. I'm being violent against me." No, they're like literally threatening to kill us. They're saying it verbatim. They are not mincing any words. That you're not. Oh, we're not allowed to notice that. But whenever we talk about them being corrupt, that to them is us inciting violence. Okay, the violence is censorship, and Jimmy Kimmel getting fired for speaking his mind is not censorship.
All right, here you go. This is I'm a Victim. This is 2020. Okay, at 11/11, November 17th. This is me. This is Hillary Clinton's article that she put on there. A wide range of disinformation campaign aimed at Democrats is already underway with signs of foreign state actors. That's how they got it. They said that I was foreign. This is Hillary's tweet that led to the Political article. The Political article linked HRC to this site with a list of 200 accounts targeted by HRC in the DERP state and pro-POTUS accounts, collusion, targeted harassment. Look at, there I am. That's me. Okay, that's my Twitter account. Okay, then we got Hawley talking about big tech and censoring conservative voices. There has been zero media backlash. Patriots, you have been selected as threats and falsely labeled as foreign disinfo agents, though they attempt to disguise at the bottom is not all. This is an attempt to target and remove by false pretense all threatening voices, elimination of free speech to prevent loss of control. These actions are now being monitored and would strongly encourage forwarding this information to the appropriate members of Congress, Senate, and the media. We believe this is a test run to effectively silence the opposition while testing the potential media backlash or official response, which there was none. This attempt to silence is fascism. Those who oppose their view or narrative should further demonstrate their resolve to control the message narrative, win at any cost. And for those who think that this war is fake or we are not considered a major threat, this is a direct attack by HRC on POTUS Patriots. Okay? Media Matters. Alex Jones had a Media Matter guy on yesterday. Got our YouTube. Media Matters. Got our Patreon. Media Matters. Look at that. Media Matters. They got our PayPal. They got our YouTube. They got our Teespring. Okay? These people are sick, guys. They tracked us upon, GoFundMe. They stole $1,000 that you guys donated to us. It's not funny. I don't care about Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, I don't care about Jimmy Kimmel. I don't. And I don't care about any of their problems that they're going to be having from here on out. And it's very interesting how that if you pay attention, you'll see that all Fox News does is throw Democrat problems in front of you. They're never talking about what Donald Trump is doing. They're always trying to undermine him. They're always trying to act like, oh, well, is Antifa really a terrorist? Donald Trump claims Antifa is a terrorist organization. They don't do a shred of research. It's a gatekeeping portal for people like Britt Hume, Dana Perino, and Karl Rove to keep the neocon dream alive.
Yeah.
Brett Baer.
So we have firmly and fiercely documented our censorship, and nobody cared then.
Nobody cares now.
Nobody cares now. There's the link, guys, if you want to see that. Shady, wow. Just
kind of unbelievable. It's kind of unbelievable how it all connects. And it's kind of unbelievable how two guys could come together and just simply want to do a podcast or to do a show and explain to people what's going on. And out of everything in the world, it was us that was the problem.
Yeah.
It's very
and still is.
And we're still the problem. And all of these other people that were censored at the same time, well, they went on and they're still part of the network over there.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that interesting? Because they were part of the network to begin with. And what it was that General Flynn and General McChrystal built, they built on both sides of the political spectrum. General McChrystal took over the operations on the left. General Flynn took over the operations on the right. And the split was when Comey and friends at the FBI used a rubber bullet to insert Flynn into MAGA. And Flynn has been choking on MAGA ever since. Every time he comes out and has to say something positive about Trump, it's like he's vomiting because it hurts so bad for him to have to say it. And the only thing he does is produce him or proclaim that he's some sort of saint. And when in all reality, we see the paper trail.
So last night was very interesting at 11:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. on Air Force One 5 years ago tonight. This is Bader Ginsburg, okay? And that was a Q post. Never forget those in the background. That's you guys.
That's you.
That's you guys understanding what's really going on.
Yes, exactly right. How you're part of the Great Awakening. Yeah. That's what that means. Talking directly to you. And that's a little bit of an interesting timing on that post last night as we were going over some of these things.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Now, this is also kind of like in the background, like we're behind President Trump. We are in the background. And then if you look at President Trump's True Social right here with this, it's kind of in the background as well. And Intel, now 30. It went from 20 to 30. So read post 20 through 30. Okay, we're not going to do it today because we're going to get ready to go around into that. But this news is unlocking so much. This is the golden age. You are now, the American government into the Treasury is invested in Intel, and it happened at 20, and now it's 30. This is called the art of the deal. Is the way into the golden age.
Yes, and all of these hangers-on are trying to keep you where you are. They want you to constantly be running around, chasing your tail, questioning things that you already know to be true. Once you've learned something, once something is known to be true, once you know something to be true, it is your responsibility as a human being to act as such, to believe in your research, to understand what discernment means, to understand what logic means, to understand what it means to come to a conclusion. Yes, conclusions can be upended with new information, but do not for a second start to question what it is that you have proven as a fact.
Yeah.
It's BS, guys. You're just spinning your wheels. A fact is a fact, whether we like it or not. There are places and there are things that you cannot ignore. There are realities that you cannot ignore. When you are in a place, an amphitheater, every shot that rings out, you are going to hear. There was one shot that rang out. People say, oh, well, the bullet would have done this damage. No, it wouldn't have. If you're a hunter, if you've ever shot a deer, you know that a 30-06 round will go right through a deer neck, right out the other side, guys. It doesn't like explode on impact.
Catastrophic damage.
That's if it hits bone, maybe. But if it goes through soft tissue, no. It'll go right through just like that.
Yeah, and have your theories. Have at it. I don't really care, but I'm done with some of these cockamamie, stupid-ass theories.
Yep, I'm past it.
I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
And done.
Now, if more information comes up, we will report it.
We absolutely will.
And that's how we roll, because we're always wrong until we're right. Yep. Isn't that interesting? We've got a pretty good track record. Maybe we have more connections than people think, Shady Grove.
Yeah, well, people out there trying to scream and yell that Charlie Kirk is still alive is screwed up.
No, he was an actor.
Yeah, I get it. Boy, that's just go tell his wife that. Go tell.
It was a palm gun.
Oh yeah, palm gun.
Because the palm gun would do that much damage with not even a 22 round. Jesus. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Shady Grove. We're going to premium here in 2 minutes. This is Pandora's box right here. Okay. There it is. And I can't wait to get into it, Shady.
Today, we're going to be getting into the connections that we've been talking about through the Middle Eastern oil. And whenever you really break this down and talk about the stuff we were talking about in the first hour, Jeff was showing you some pictures of the Antifa in foreign countries. And what you realize is that the Nazi party that was started here in America has roots with the Antifa. And what you also don't understand is Prescott Bush and Prescott Bush's associations with foreign oil and the Nazi party in America. And his family still has connections with Fox News and what's going on in the media charade that you see today. It's all connected.
Yeah. Oh, wow. All right. So, let's just go ahead and do it.
Here we go.
Take us.
He's not ready.
Oh, yeah. Just take us. Ready? We'll see you guys over there. Payseur.
Much love, guys. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Yes.
The MG Show. Not funded by dark money, but funded by listeners like you.
songs, but tonight I would like to play a song and dedicate it to Charlie Kirk and what he so adamantly stood for, you know, and I don't want to see a picture of this country without God in it, you know, and it seems like every day it's trying harder and harder to do that, but I got faith that it ain't gonna go that way. And see, I don't know this song, but I wrote this with my wife, so I'm gonna try my best to get through this here. But this is where my heart is. So. Kid on the dirty floor, a lonely man in his silver Porsche, a single mom on her second shift, a teenage girl with scars on her wrist. When the kingdom comes, when we all know why, when we see the sun rolling back the sky, there'll be nothing left but love. When the kingdom comes, when the kingdom comes, every shattered soul, every shade of skin, all the broken hearts, they're gonna beat again. They're gonna find their way. They're gonna feel the cost of some iron nails and a wooden cross. When the kingdom comes, when we all know why, when we see the sun rolling back the sky, there'll be nothing left but love. When the kingdom comes, when the kingdom comes, and when the first are last and the last are first, won't be no hunger, won't be no thirst. When the kingdom comes, we're gonna all know why, and we'll see the sun rolling back the sky. There'll be nothing left but love. When the kingdom comes, we're gonna all know why, when we see the sun rolling back the sky, there'll be nothing left but love. When the kingdom comes, when the kingdom comes, when the kingdom comes.
Lee Brice, When the Kingdom Comes, guys. Very good song, dedicated to Charlie Kirk, a song that him and his wife wrote. It is not released yet. That's only got 134 views released, 134,000 views released 2 days ago. I saw it when it was like 5,000. And it's on my Facebook, Joe Ray Perkins. If you scroll down, you'll see it there as well. Shady, real quick, before we get into it, let me just accept and start this. Boom. Here we go. Hey, football fanatics, are you ready for some primetime football actions? Tune into Westwood One for all the gridiron glory you crave, from jaw-dropping touchdown, game-changing plays. Don't miss a single moment of the excitement. Catch every snap, every tackle, and every victory on Westwood One. You can listen to the NFL on the NFL app, on Westwood One Sports app, on WestwoodOneSports.com, via The Westwood One station streams are by asking ALEXA to open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One.